Okay, so I must say that I want first and foremost to thank all those who made this meeting available, the Rav Eli and the Rosh Yeshiva that invited me to speak and to tell the story of the war, what we've been going through all along the last year and a half. I must say that for me, this is the first visit in US. I've never been to US, even though that my father was born in Toronto, but we never traveled to America. And this time is the first visit in US. This is the first day for me in my life in the US, and the first place to speak is here in the YU. This is the first place we arrive. I thought to myself that the Gemara in Masechet Yoma speaks about, teaches us about mitzvat mezuzah, and the Gemara learns from the bitui uvish'arecha that שערי המדינות, כך אומרת הגמרא, שערי המדינות חייבים במזוזה. The gates of the land, the gates of the states, gates of the cities, you have to put mezuzah even on those gates, not only on your Beitecha, not only on your house, but even in the gates of the land. In the ancient days, there were gates to the land because a land was surrounded with walls, and the gates of the land should be also with a mezuzah. And I think that when the Torah commands us to put mezuzah in every time we enter a place or exit a place, she wants us to be connected to the Torah whenever we go. The fact that we face the mezuzah every time we enter to a place or every time we start a travel, a journey, it means that we want our path to be connected to the Kodesh Baruch Hu. And when a man, when a Jewish man stops and look at the mezuzah, it reminds him what should be the way he goes, not only the physical way, but also he should go in Derech HaTorah to every place he goes. And for me, to start my visit here in the U.S., here in the YU, in this Beis Midrash, a Beis Midrash that raised the banner of Torah and illuminated the way for Jews for so many generations, a way of Irat Shamayim, a way of keeping and holding the flame of Torah here in the U.S., and I think I might say not only in the U.S., but all over the world. It's like meeting the mezuzah in the beginning of this visit in the U.S., to stop here and to speak to you, to stop here in this Beis Midrash. And I would like to share with some things we've going through, but I would like it to be not only stories, but also to share the Torah that we learned in the past year and a half during the war. Because I think that during the last past year and a half, we discovered new face, panim chadashot of the Torah. We revealed a new worldview, new perspective. Things that I think that in the years before the war, when we looked and we learned the Torah, we didn't notice. But this year made us see things that we didn't see before. It's because we had to find our strength and to empower ourselves and to be how to say, לשאוב כוחות, to מבינים אותי, מה? לשאוב כוחות from the Torah, and it made us notice very much a lot of things. I think that I can say about myself and about my colleagues, we didn't see and we didn't search in the Torah in the years before. I would like to start with Gemara במסכת ברכות. ברכות דף נ"ג. The Gemara says that a man who sees in his dream broken dishes, broken objects, If you see broken dishes, broken objects, broken eggs, you must understand that someone is answering your wish. A thing that you've been participating for is about to happen. Why? When you see a broken thing, it's usually not a good thing. It doesn't. When we see broken things, broken dishes, we usually we don't think it's good luck. It seems a bad luck. But the Gemara says that when you dream and you see broken dishes, you must know that the Kodesh Baruch Hu is answering your wish. There was a Chassidic rabbi named Rabbi Eitam. Did you hear about him? Rabbi Eitam was the grandson of Rabbi Akiva Eiger. He was a very, very unique rabbi. His way of life, he had many anoges, unacceptable anoges. But he wrote a Perush la Torah called Torah Temet. And then he gives a Perush for this Gemara. And he says that this is a metaphor. Seeing in the dream broken dishes, this is a metaphor for a crisis, for a broken world, a broken reality. When the reality we are going through, we feel it's broken, means we are in a crisis. That means that the crisis is not the last period of the story. This is the first period of a story. And it comes to us because the Kodesh Baruch Hu wants to renew the world. To create a new world. To create something better. And when you want to create something better, you have to destroy the world that comes before. An ancient world has to be ruined to make it available to renew a better world. And when we see a broken dishes, it reminds us. This is a sign that something new, something better is under the surface, and is going to be born. If we wait, we'll see that something new is going to come. I can give some examples for it. A broken egg. This is a very good example because when efroach, how do you say efroach, Yaakov? A chick. When a chick is going out of the egg, the first thing you see is that the egg is broken. But it is broken because the chick is going to get out, and we are going to see new life. But the day we are going to celebrate, in Israel we celebrate Tu B'Shvat, I think it's also a very good example because the autumn fall, the falling of autumn leaves. This is the opportunity for the trees to renewal a new blossoming during the spring. When we look on the autumn fall, we see dead trees. The blossom of the previous year leaves us, but it leaves us to afford to renew a new blossoming, and this is the rule of the nature, that when we want to renew new life, the older reality, the older life have to vanish, have to disappear, to make the new life available. In Tu B'Shvat we celebrate the new blossoming. In Israel, the first flowers start to blossom in Tu B'Shvat. And we celebrate Tu B'Shvat because we are saying now we can understand what we've been going through during the winter. We saw the reality, we saw a dead reality, and now we see that it wasn't death. It was a procedure that its purpose was to renew and give birth for a new life. In Hebrew, the word for crisis and the word for giving birth, it's the same word. Mashber. Mashber means crisis, and mashber, also when a woman gives birth, we say that she is Yoshevet al mashber. She sits on the mashber. It's the same word. And I think that it's a very, very deep wisdom of the Hebrew language. We understand that the crisis is the opportunity to discover and to give birth for a new reality. It's also, if you pay attention, mashber, it's also the word for food, for life. Yaakov Avinu, he says to his sons, when there's Bara'av, when there's Ra'av in Eretz Yisrael, he tells them, Yesh shever b'Mitzrayim. Go to bring food from Egypt, from Mitzrayim. Go to bring food, but the word for food, for bringing the life, to make them alive in the Ra'av, the word for food is shever. So we understand that when we face crisis, when we face broken reality, we also know that behind it, if we will deepen, if we will look deeper, we will see that under the surface, there are new life coming for us. And I think that this is a perspective we should use when we are speaking and trying to learn what we've been going through during the last year and a half. Because you know that in Israel, we speak a lot in news, in papers, we speak a lot about the conception that was broken. A lot of experts say that we lived in a wrong conception. We lived in a wrong conception, and this wrong conception brought us to, it's part of what brought us to this situation. And to break a conception, usually when a man lives in conception, he has a perspective that makes him להתייחס, לנתח to every situation only with a certain point of view. And when you break a conception, sometimes you have to break the conception to make it easier to look in a different way, in new way, on the reality. And I think that all the Jewish world, and in Israel, I think it's for sure, we are now trying to understand what should be the new perspective, the new conception that we have to find out now that will help us to understand better our challenges and the way we should deal with them. But always when a conception is broken, so we will find out that we have to seek inside us and to ask ourselves, what does it do to our faith, to our השקפה, to our Emunah ובitachon, בקדוש ברוך הוא? Because when we teach Torah, learn Torah, and want to ask ourselves, what does the Kodesh Baruch Hu wants from us in this situation? It's also bring us to the point when we have to search again what is our conception of Emunah and our conception of Bitachon and our conception, how do we explain for ourselves all these situations and all what we've been going through? And it's not simple at all, because nothing we learned till this day can help us do it immediately. The fact that we have to develop a new worldview, we have to develop a new השקפת עולם. It demands us to concentrate, demands patience, listening, searching, and I want to share with some situations I had to face this year that put me in situations that I didn't have the immediate answer, and I had to decide, and I had to learn myself, to seek inside myself, and to listen to myself, and to try to understand what does the Kodesh Baruch Hu wants for me in this very moment. There were a lot of moments like this, and I'd like to describe some of them. I think that one of the how do you say, אירועים, a certain time that I felt speechless, and I had to decide immediately what I should do, was on the day after Simchat Torah. On the day after Simchat Torah, we sat, the staff of the yeshiva, we sat together and we asked ourselves, what is our role right now? The yeshiva, we celebrate Simchat Torah in the yeshiva. It was the biggest Simchat Torah in the night. I remember myself standing. I gave a sicha and a drasha, and I remember myself standing, looking all over the Beit Midrash, and I told myself, wow, we've never been so much here, so much Talmidim here in Simchat Torah. I think we were more than 300 Talmidim in Simchat Torah night. I think that 100 were soldiers that were released from the military for Simchat Torah. And they came to the yeshiva. At 9:30 o'clock on Simchat Torah's morning, we remain 100 Talmidim in the yeshiva. 200 were already in their way to the army. They were called to their units, and we ordered them. When we understand something of what was going on, we didn't understand what was going on. We didn't really understand what was going on. I remember that someone told me that there are, I went to, when we understand that something is going on, so I went to the commander of the, how do you say, Pikud HaOref? Pikud HaOref?
Home front command.
Okay. And I asked him, can you tell me what's going on? And he told me that there's a rumor about 40 people who was kidnapped to Gaza. I went and I said it to one of the Ramim in the yeshiva, one of the rabbis. He told me, people are talking nonsense. It can't be. We wish we had only 40 hostages. So we didn't really understand what was going on. We knew that there are combats all around Gaza, but we didn't really understand what was going on. I think that nobody understood what's going on even a day after. Only 2 days after Simchat Torah, the IDF really had a clue about what was going all over the borders. We understood that something is going on, so we ordered our students, we ordered all the Talmidim to open their phones and to check if they are called to serve in their units. And indeed, 200 of them were called to their units and left the yeshiva. We were left with 100 Talmidim. The day after Simchat Torah, we set all the staff of the yeshiva and we asked ourselves what we should do now. And we understood that we have to do two main things. One thing we have to do, we had the role to empower our soldiers, to give them strength, to raise their spirits, and we understood that we should do it, and it demands our effort to try and reach them wherever they were called to serve. They didn't enter Gaza till then. They were in bases all around Israel, but we wanted to get them before they enter Gaza. We understood that if they'll enter Gaza, it will be very hard to catch them. And so it was, because when they entered Gaza, we didn't have connection with them almost 2 months. They didn't have cell phones, and they were in battles for 2 months without stopping. So we tried to reach as much Talmidim and as much of alumnus as we could, because there were 700 alumnus of us who were drafted too, and they were called to a lot of Yechidot Miluim. As that was a new role for us, the role to raise the spirits of soldiers, to try to reach them, to encourage them. That was one role. The other role was the regular role we have. We have a yeshiva. We have a yeshiva to run. We have a yeshiva to teach. And it was very difficult to sit and learn on these days. The yeshiva was very small. Those who stayed in the yeshiva were the youngest students. The youngest students. Think of it. It's the first year of those students. They were in the yeshiva only 1 month. And they were the yeshiva. And they had to hold the Beit Midrash. They had to hold the Limud Torah. It was very hard to concentrate. It was also hard to explain, because everybody asked himself, why should I be only here? I should be in battles. And we knew that the yeshiva and the fact that the Beit Midrash is open, this is what will give strength to our soldiers. So we had 2 roles: the role of strengthening and empowering our soldiers, and the role of studying. But it wasn't only studying. It was to light the flame of study, to light the flame of Torah inside the Beit Midrash. And then the day after Simchat Torah, we heard that we can reach some of our soldiers, and they called us. They say that they are in some Shitchei Kinus. How do you say Shitchei Kinus? They were gathered in an area. יעקב, תביא את הביטוי שטחי כינוס, נו. אחד היעקבים. Okay. So they told us the point they are being drafted to, and we tried to reach them. We didn't succeed. IDF officers blocked the road, and they didn't let us path. And we had to turn around, but we heard from other soldiers that they are also waiting for us in another area, and we succeeded to reach them. And when we reached them, my colleagues got out of the car, and in the minute they got out of the car, I saw that Uriel Eliyahu's father is calling me. Uriel Eliyahu's father is sitting here with us, Achia. Uriel Eliyahu was the first soldier we lost in battles in Simchat Torah. And the story of Uriel Eliyahu was that he served in Simchat Torah. During Simchat Torah, he served in a little base near Kibbutz Be'eri. You probably heard that Kibbutz Be'eri was one of the kibbutzim that the Hamas invaded to this kibbutz and killed a lot of people, killed and kidnapped a lot of people, and hundreds of Hamas terrorists made their way to the kibbutz, invaded to the kibbutz. Ariel was there. And he was there with his crew. He served in a tank, and there were also only 2 tanks defending this border, the border near Kibbutz Be'eri. And half an hour after the attack began, half an hour after the attack began, they were shot by anti-tank missile. And Ariel was critically injured, and he died. He died there in the tank. The connection with Ariel lost during the holiday, during the Simchat Torah. He didn't call anybody, but on Simchat Torah, on Motzei Simchat Torah, his parents called me. They told me that they are disturbed. They are concerned because they can't reach him. I told them that they shouldn't be so concerned because it makes sense that he went out to fight in Simchat Torah morning, and he still didn't have the time. Maybe he didn't even had his cell phone with him. He didn't have the time to call them back and to tell them what's going on. We had some other soldiers there fighting that didn't make connection with their families till Sunday noon. I remember that when I was in the car to visit this base, one of these soldiers called me. He was fighting in the tank beside Ariel, and I remember that he told me, it was half an hour before Achia called me, he told me that he doesn't know exactly what was going on with Ariel, but he is afraid for his life. That's what he told me. I could understand by the way he spoke that the chances are not high to find Ariel alive, but he didn't know what to say because there was a real mess all over the borders, and he didn't know to say what on these moments. Maybe later he understood, but he didn't know to say exactly what was going on. So we came to this to visit this group. And I see my colleagues got out of the car. They met all those young soldiers. There was a very happy meeting because the gathering together after they left in Simchat Torah and the fact that we arrived to them was full of joy. And I sat in the car and I see that Achia is calling me, and I answer him. And he had the terrible news to tell me that Ariel was killed. I remember you told me that you feel comforted by the fact that you have his body to bury. Because on these days, on Simchat Torah, as we see today, the fact that you had a body to bury, that was Chasdei Hashem, that we could bury Ariel. And I sat in the car and I asked myself, what should I do now? Because I'm in the car with this terrible news. Outside of the car, there's a happy meeting going on. My soldiers are happy. I didn't know if I can tell them yet what I heard, but I also didn't know if it will be the right thing to do, because they had to be strong right now. I understood that if I want to strengthen them, going out now, out of the car, and delivering them this news, that won't be strengthening. And you should understand that I'm there inside the car with this terrible news, with the pain of what I have just heard. Outside of the car, there's the environment, the mood is the opposite, totally the opposite. And I had to make a decision. What should I do right now? And I decided that I can't go out and tell them those bad news. I wiped my tears. I got out of the car. We continued the meeting as nothing happened. When the meeting was finished, we entered the car. We drove some 100 meters away, and then I stopped the car and I told my colleagues the bad news. And I think that on that point, I understood something about my role in this war. my role, my colleagues' role, I understood that we are also soldiers. We are also called to serve, and our mission is to empower our Talmidim, to empower our soldiers. I won't be able to share with all those all my students, all those who lives around me, the pain I feel during the war, because I have to deal with it with myself sometimes, and for those who need, and I'll have to be there for those who need me, to give them strength to raise their spirits. And I think that during all along the war, we understood that all of the, I think it was right for all of us, for the Rabbanim in the Yeshiva, but my colleague, the Rosh Yeshiva, Rabbi Uriel Eitam, he told it that, he said it in this way. He said that we shall all know that we have to be given power, to be given strength from someone. Everybody needs someone to strengthen him, and everybody has to strengthen someone else. Each of us he has the role to be a mechazek for someone, and he needs someone that will empower him, will give him power. He also said, if you want to strengthen yourself, find someone that you shall strengthen him. If you strengthen someone, if you give power for someone, it will stronger your resilience, it will stronger your mental power, the fact that you find yourself strengthening other people. And I think that if we'll pay attention, we'll see that all the Jewish world acted like it. We all needed the chizuk, but we all gave chizuk for someone else. I saw it in Israel. I acted like that. My students acted like that. I think that all my colleagues did it, but I think that all over the world we saw it. We saw Jewish people all over the world mechazkim, strengthening Israeli soldiers. And this is a way to strengthen yourself. And I think that this is a Torah that we learned here during this war. We learned that we need to rely on each other. And then when we rely on each other, and when we are going through terrible times, terrible things, but we are going through them together, when we are united, and we find ourselves giving the koach, giving the power to each other, it makes all of us, it makes all the Jewish people stronger than what they can do as pratim, as yechidim, as individuals. Pashut, forgot the word. Okay. So I think that one of the lessons we should learn from this war is the power of unity, the power of unity of the Jewish people, of the Jewish nation. I would like to share with more other things, but tell me, how much time do I have to speak, Arveli?
Maybe like 10 minutes.
10 minutes? Oh. Okay. So I'll share about the grieving, the mourning that the yeshiva have been going through. As you know, we lost 10 of our students and alumnus during the battles. The youngest was Uriel Eitam, and the oldest was maybe you heard the name, because I think here in the US you heard this name, Elisha Lowenstern. Do you hear the name of Elisha? He was the oldest Talmid, the oldest alumni of the yeshiva who fell in battles. He was 39 years old. He had 6 kids. He could avoid going to the war. He didn't have to. He volunteered. I don't know if you knew Elisha, but Elisha wasn't the fighter. None of them, none of our Talmidim was the kind of fighter who goes to battles because he's searching the fight, he's searching the blood, I think that some might think that our Talmidim are some kind of bullies or who search their way to fight and just give them a war to participate and they will run. There are none like this. They are all gentle and modest and sensitive persons that in the pictures we have in the yeshiva, we put the pictures of them in the entrance of the yeshiva. They are all smiling. They are all smiling. All of them are smiling. Full of joy, optimistic, but when they are called to serve, I think that the way they live the Torah made them committed to the Jewish people and committed to the Kodesh Baruch Hu. And when they heard the need that they are needed in the battlefield, they went to the battlefield because they were learning the same Torah that made them modest and gentle and sensitive to each other and to other people. The same Torah, when they heard the command when they heard the call to help their people, they knew to go to close their books, and they know how to find the strength to go to the war, what we call le'ezrat Israel miyad tzar. This is the same thing. We have this character in the Jewish world. David HaMelech. David HaMelech, Chazal it tells about David HaMelech that he is adino ha'etzni. Adino, זה adin. He is gentle. He is sensitive. But he is tough, like a wood, when he's in the battlefield. And when you are obligated to the command, to the mitzvat Hashem, when you are obligated to the Kodesh Baruch Hu, you know that these are the warriors we are searching. We don't want warriors, fighters full of joy of killing people. We want that those who sit and learn Torah in the Beit Midrash, and those who know how to react, who know how to להתייחס to each other, we want them to be the soldiers of the Hebrew army. And we saw it on our soldiers. We saw that the Torah, that the flame of the Torah and the flame of the battlefield are coming from the same heart. It's the same heart. They are growing from the same roots. And if I started with mitzvat mezuzah, I think that we saw that here are those that the Torah is directs them and leads them whenever they go. Even if they go to the battlefield, they'll find there את דבר השם, את התורה. They'll find the Torah in the combats. Wow. 5 minutes? Okay. So I would like to finish with the words of Elchanan Kalmanzon. Did you hear about Elchanan Kalmanzon? Because this is, I think, something that we have to learn from this war. Elchanan Kalmanzon, לא Elchanan, of course, Menachem Kalmanzon. Elchanan Kalmanzon lived in the settlement Otniel, Yishuv, by Yishuv Otniel. Hitnachalut, what we call Hitnachalut. He wasn't related to those, to this population of the Otef. A religious man. His father is a Rosh Yeshiva, Rosh Yeshivat Hesder. When he understood what's going on in the Otef, he took his brother, Elchanan, took Menachem, and his nephew, Itiel, and they drove on Simchat Torah to Be'eri, and rescued under fire, facing heavy fire. They rescued more than 100 people from Be'eri. But unfortunately, Elchanan was shot and killed, and Menachem, his brother, received the Israeli prize on Yom HaAtzmaut. He received the prize on his behalf, on Menachem's behalf, but for him, for Menachem and for Elchanan, on the Independence Day. When I wanted to give, when I had to give drosha before Tfilat Ne'ilah on Yom Kippur, I read what Menachem said when he got the prize. I started with the pasuk, Simeni kachotam al libecha, kachotam al zorecha. Knesset Israel asks the Kodesh Baruch Hu to be sealed upon his heart and sealed upon the Kodesh Baruch Hu arm. To be engraved on Hashem's heart, I think it means that we want to find ourselves in an unbreakable connection with the Kodesh Baruch Hu. Dvekut, devotion. It expresses the devotion we feel between Am Yisrael and the Kodesh Baruch Hu. But how can you create such a devotion? How can a man be sealed? How can Knesset Israel be sealed upon the heart of the Kodesh Baruch Hu? And I think that the way we discovered on Simchat Torah is that when we are sealed on the hearts of each other, when we discover that there are no walls between us, it also breaks the wall between us and the Kodesh Baruch Hu. And I want to read Menachem Kalmanzon's word. When we arrived at the Meir family home in Be'eri, that's what he said, Michal refused to open the protected room door. She and her sister were too afraid. Michal pleaded through the door, "Speak, so we can hear your Hebrew." They were afraid that he is Arabic. So she told him, "Speak so we can hear your Hebrew." And she didn't open until I shouted, Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad. And the door opened immediately. I confess, this was not a prayer. This was a cry. I am a Jew. I am here for you. Please open the door. We have no choice. We must find every way to break down the barriers between us and not let disputes separate us. That's what said Menachem Kalmanzon. And I think that this is the answer. How can we find ourselves sealed on the heart of the Kodesh Baruch Hu? How can we create this devotion? Is by this devotion between us. Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad. Thank you very much.